Hello YouTube, ReadyReptiles here with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be highlighting and talking about the radiated tortoise. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and let's get started. Alright guys, so I currently own 5 radiated tortoises. Since the last time you guys saw these guys, I only had 3 and I've recently added just 2 more. You can see these guys right here. The one on the left is Flare, the one on the right is Hopper. This little one is Star Platinum. This one right here is 11. And the tiniest little guy that's drinking water is Madagascar, the youngest radiated tortoise that I own. And for those that don't know, the radiated tortoise is a critically endangered species. They come from the island of Madagascar. Their scientific name is Chelonian radiata. This species of tortoise is found in southwestern Madagascar, specifically in a band of coastal lowlands. So their habitat is a shrubland marine coastal area. It's mostly dominated with spiny vegetation, so lots of drier areas that can, survive and live in the sandier, more dry parts of the island. And being that Madagascar is an island, automatically all the animals that are native to this island are considered already endangered, just because through natural disasters, through spread of disease, invasive species, things like that, these animals can get wiped out a lot faster than they would if they were on a mainland, because their population is so condensed and it's only found in one specific area. So being that these guys come from a coastal part, they're a lot of a drier tortoise. They like to handle the more drier climates. They can also be found in the high plateaus, in the inland, in the sandy dunes close to the coast as well. So as you can see, this habitat, it's very temporary right now, just something that I can raise them in until they get a lot larger before they go out fully, which I'll be doing here soon. But these guys, perfectly are fine in here. I take them out every day and they're just hiding right now. But as you can see, this little one is still trying to get a little bit of a drink. And I do have a water dish for them, but I'll just tip this over and she likes to drink from there. Alright, so one thing I want to point out before I further this video and further give more detail about these radiated tortoises is the fact that each tortoise is individual and unique to its own shell structure. They have their own patterns, they have their own colorations, obviously different shell sizes, different shell shapes. This one right here is Flare. As a baby, was super dark. You did not expect any whites to come out, and as you can see, as it continues to grow, it's getting some beautiful nice flares on the sides, these whites creeping through. Right here, the youngest one, which is not Star Platinum, Madagascar. As you can see, it still has a long way to develop, but there is some promise with these whites coming in. And this specific tortoise is actually super important because the mother, her name is Manja, and Manja was an original stud book animal that was brought in years ago from Madagascar, so she has some very strong genetics behind her. If we go further into the tub here, you can see this is Star Platinum. A little bit larger than Madagascar, but super nice whites, super high promise as well. Nice yellow legs, very black head, and just super overall beautiful. Even though the darker animals obviously don't have as much yellow, don't have as much white, I do not care. I just love having the fact that I'm able to own some radiated tortoises. This one right here is 11. This is my oldest radiated tortoise, and as you can see, beautiful shell, nice yellows, nice whites, just very overall a very nice, well put together tortoise, just like how all of these are. And finally, the last one, which is all the way back here, which we need to get a little reach over, is Hopper. And Hopper, I would say, is the highest white so far. You can see these whites are really coming in on the side, and for those that are going to ask, this red marking is just so that we can kind of know each individual animal, and that came from the breeder, so he can mark who's the mom and what egg and how old the tortoises are in that sense, and obviously just to kind of mark the overall genetics behind the animal, so we can track that as well as for the stud book. So as you can see, here's an overview of all 5 of them, and I just wanted to give you guys kind of an individual insight and look on how unique each animal is and how beautiful that shell structure. So along with being individually unique to their own pattern and shell, this material is made out of keratin. So it's the same material as your fingernails, as your hair. And one of the reasons why these are critically endangered animals is because they are highly poached. And one of the main reasons why they're poached is because people go out into Madagascar, collect these animals by the thousands, by the hundreds. And what they do is they send them out to different Asian countries. And these traditional Asian medicine practices consider the beauty of the shell as an aphrodisiac. And an aphrodisiac, for those that don't know, they think by consuming and the consumption of the shell of certain animals or certain materials such as rhino horns, elephant tusks, they have some supernatural effect to their life. Sometimes they seek improvements in very central areas. They think that it has cures for, you know, extreme diseases and things, but that's completely false, just because it's only made out of the material as our fingernails are and as our hair. So they have no you know, purpose besides just their beauty. So people will go out there, they collect them for these traditional medicine markets. Obviously the black market. They are also poached and taken out of the wild for the illegal pet trade. So that's why it's super important to support captive breeding. My goal here is to obviously get more radiateds, continue to raise these guys up, and like I explained previously, have what is called an assurance colony. So in the case that these animals were to go extinct fully in the wild, there will always be a captive population here in the United States, or, you know, obviously elsewhere that is not Madagascar. The number one important thing though to consider is the protection of their native range. So without these animals in their native environment, or without protecting their native environment as well, we won't be able to you know, save them naturally. But that's why it's always important to have captive breeding. And the step starts here in the captivity, and also it, you know, goes further as to completely protecting Madagascar, so that population gets established, and then hopefully years from now we are able to do what is called a reintroduction program, where we will produce babies so that we can reintroduce them into their native setting. So like I've been explaining, just to get a little bit more detail into the fact of poaching, these animals are poached for many reasons. Normally, you know, you get the illegal trafficking for the pet trade. The natives in Madagascar eat these guys as meals, which obviously takes a toll on their population over time. Illegal export to other countries, like I explained, using them for medical purposes, such as the aphrodisiacs, like I said. Introduction of disease and bacteria is a very big one, because these guys, like I said, come from such a condensed area, such a biodiverse area, which is Madagascar. So if you introduce a new disease or a new bacteria that isn't native to you know, that region, or it's something that these animals aren't used to, or, you know, haven't been introduced to before, it really wipes out populations very quickly. That's a very big reason why these guys are on a population decline. Obviously, the loss of habitat. These people out there go, you know, pay lots of money so that they can clear land for cattle farming. Obviously, they like to clear the trees. You know, sometimes commercialization happens out there, and that is completely wrong. So by them clearing these lands, these habitats, these guys lose homes. All the animals lose homes there, and it's just really sad to see. So that's one of the reasons why these guys are critically endangered. And of course, you know, invasive species, dogs, cats, lots of rodents sometimes. Humans are the biggest invasive species, because we go, like I said, clear habitats, eat them, take them out of the wild by poaching them, you know, for their shell or whatever reasons. And of course, Madagascar is a very unstable government. They're always changing leaders, they're always changing different rules. So if the overall country isn't establishing any protocols or any sort of functional, you know, laws to protect these animals, it's very difficult for them to make a full bounce back. So like I explained previously, by protecting them in their native range first, we then you know, can start you know, letting their population trend increase rather than decrease, because since they are critically endangered, their native population is in constant decrease, and as a whole their population is on decline always, because you know, by the thousands they get wiped out. And on the daily, these guys you know, face people, like I said, collecting them, taking them out of the wild, and just harming them in different ways. So real quick, I'm going to be soaking these tortoises like I do every day, because soaking is very beneficial for animals that you are raising up. But just to kind of talk about their diet, since these guys are a grassland species as well, they require diets higher in fiber. So primarily they're going to be eating hays and grasses. I love to feed orchard grass here. Another alternative that I use is timothy hay. And then the rest of their diet consists of prepared diets like as Missouri LS tortoise diet. And of course, we do supplement with produces such as romaine lettuce, green leaf lettuce, red leaf lettuce, escarole, mulberry leaves. Organic spring mix is amazing for these guys, especially when they are growing up. You can do different collard greens greens, dandelion greens, hibiscus, puntia cactus, and things like that, as long as they are not high in protein, because too much protein for these animals can lead to metabolic bone disease, pyramiding, obviously, overdosing in calcium as well. Lack of calcium also, develops that as well. And of course, giving them ample space. You guys saw their enclosure, which is more than enough for these guys because they are growing up. But here soon, you guys will see one of these videos that I will be making them a larger habitat, sort of a tortoise table where I can keep them outside and then put them in at night. So you want to be feeding these guys primarily hay and grasses. As they are raising up though, more produce is okay because you want to get them as much nutrients as possible. But these guys are just very beautiful animals. You can see when their shells are wet and in the sunlight, they're just amazing to see. So throughout this video, I'll also be including some clips of these animals, drinking water, eating, kind of walking around. I'll also try to post some pictures of, the parents of these guys in the most case, and some of the adult animals that I've encountered over time, so you guys can kind of see how they look when they're older. They're not a very large tortoise. I would say they're more of a medium-sized tortoise, getting around, 25, 30 pounds, a very large one, about 20 something inches. Very high dome though. These guys are known for that very high dome shell as well, kind of like the Aldabra tortoise in a sense. So I just wanted to kind of incorporate this clip so you guys can understand that the videos that you have seen are from previous times, and the adult tortoises in this video are not mine, of course. They are friends of mine who own them. All right, guys, so overall, I just want to give this little clip here so we can have a rundown of what we already spoke about. So scientific name, Astrocheles radiata, common name, the radiated tortoises, usually known for those very high dome, black and, very yellowish shells, very beautiful animals, each individually unique to their own shell pattern. Not one is alike. They come from the island of Madagascar, usually ranges more in the southern area of that island. We know that Madagascar is a very biodiverse area. Lots of animals and plants live there, and including the radiated tortoise. A lot of the animals out there are poached illegally for the pet trade, for the bushmeat market, the black market, the Asian medicine market, where they use them as aphrodisiacs. And as you can see, these guys are babies right now, but at a full length size, they'll be around 30 pounds for a very large one, usually in the 20-25 pound range, about 20 inches or so, a little bit above that, depending if it's male or female. Obviously genetic diversity and variation takes into factor, and of course, since they are grassland species, they require diets higher in fiber, just like your sulcatas, just like your aldabras, your Galapagos, your leopard tortoises, animals that come from areas where they're grazing constantly. You can feed them orchard grass, timothy hay. I would stay away from alfalfa hay because it's higher in protein. So we know with grassland species, the less protein better, the higher the fiber, which is more important as well, because if you do feed them too much protein, it has what is called called oxalitins, and it can form, you know, fatty liver, gout, different problems for them, give them digestive issues. We want to keep sugar content to a low because their digestive tract is not, you know, made for digesting high amounts of sugar. But every once in a while, about once a month, I like to offer melons just so they can have some extra source of hydration. Good produce to feed tortoises like this or any grassland species is romaine lettuce, green leaf lettuce, red leaf lettuce, collard greens, escarole, the whole rundown like I explained previous in the video. But yeah, overall, these are beautiful animals. We must protect Madagascar. We must protect their native range. So like that, our conservation efforts here in captivity will also, you know, coincide and be equal and beneficial to the animals that are in their native range as well. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Subscribe, rate, comment, and like. So hopefully you guys learned something new. Comment down below what you guys want to see on the channel. And as always, if you want to see more daily content, you can check me out on Instagram and on TikTok at ReadyReptiles. Thanks for watching. See you, my fellow herpers. All right, guys, so these tortoises you're about to see are a friend of mine named Jason Abels. He does lots of captive conservation with Galapagos tortoises and radiated tortoises. Those two are adult animals. They are the mother of some of my babies. These are some of his younger animals. You can see they're higher whites. A lot of them are darker, more yellow. These are two other different individual animals. You can see both unique, different in their each individuality. Very beautiful tortoises, just amazing animals overall, of course. And these are my 5 radiated tortoises. So hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.